Hello, and welcome to Bubbles and Breakdowns, a space designed for you to show up as your beautifully imperfect self, where we dive into the good, the bad, and those bubbles. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Katrina. And wow, I am excited and also exhausted thinking about this topic. Oh, that sounds nice. Let's get a little nap in this afternoon. But we're talking about sleep today, guys. We're going to touch on things from bedtime routines and how their successes or failures can really cause frustration, in many cases, anger, and I'll have to admit, maybe a touch of rage here and there. It also forces us to forfeit our me time.
What's me time?
I know. Oh, those days where you literally have zero and overall can make us exhausted. Today, we're talking about one of the biggest challenges in the early years, sleep. From the newborn phase, where sleep is a mythical creature, to the toddler years filled with bedtime battles, and Ashley and I both know the struggle is real.
It's a constant struggle.
So we hope in this episode to touch on just some aha moments we've had over the years, share our frustrations, but also the successes that we've had of getting our little ones to sleep. We want to explore some hot button topics like sleep training, co-sleeping, and try to break down those myths. But we don't want to talk about what's right and wrong here. We'll just focus on finding out what works for our families and how to set that loving boundary while we're still savoring those fleeting, precious little cuddle moments, even though sometimes you just wish that paperweight would get off of your body so you can go to bed.
Shake them loose.
So, hey guys, welcome. Join us. We're going to share some strategies we've tried, from those gentle methods for the sensitive ones to frank discussions and cry it out, and even incentives for some of the older kids. Bribes work. And our goal is hopefully to empower you with some knowledge and confidence as you continue to navigate that wild, wild world of childhood sleep. So you can all get the rest that we all need and deserve. Oh, goodness.
We need it.
So let's start where we are. Ashley, how was your night last night?
First of all, we plan topics in advance, right, to talk about. So we are looking at kind of just some notes of what we talk about, and then we have these conversations. And on the docket today was sleep. This was not planned. And I did not have a good sleep night. My poor little guy, he is going to be 2 coming up at the end of the year. And I think we're hitting this sleep regression for a 2-year-old, and it was wild. And it's been all week, and it's just so different and I'm not even comparing, right? Well, I guess I am, between him and my daughter, but every little thing throws him off. She could sleep through anything. Yeah. Give me doorbells, give me fire alarms, give me vacuums, she's out. And he is just a sensei like his mom. And I don't know, we put him to bed, had to rock him for 30 minutes. Then my husband had a huge day at work yesterday, so he was so tired. I was like, I got this tonight. Don't worry. You get some sleep, and I'm on our son's schedule, I guess, for lack of a better word. So he woke up at 9. Then I had rocked him for 45 minutes. And then that success when you're almost feel like you're carrying a bomb. Yes. And you're like, I can't
Don't
make
trip.
I cannot make a misstep. And then you're like, oh man, I stepped on a book. And all of a sudden it's like the wheels on the bus, and you're like, oh my God, not again. I can't do this. So I finally got him down, and I scurried off to my room, closed the door, and it started squeaking. I was like, no, I don't care. Leave the door open. Got to bed, and I was like, oh, I think we did it. 3:00 rolls around. Mommy. So I run in there, did it again. Held him for 30 minutes as his okay, I know he's out. Put him back down. 15 minutes later, I woke up, and then I'm like, you're getting in bed with us, because I just need a good 2 more hours to function.
Yeah.
So it was a little crazy.
Well, thank you for showing up. I think I just have to call her out. She has an extra large venti today. It's typically a grande.
It's a venti. And usually ventis make me feel a little sick because it's too much caffeine, but I'm like, I got to power through this day.
But thank you for showing up and continuing to stick with this plan. And it's funny as you were saying this, the similarities between our sons.
Oh,
as you're just, about a year behind or year and a half behind my son in terms of age. And as I hear you say this stuff, I have so much familiarity and sensitivity around it and empathy, major, major empathy. Because these boys are giving us a run for our money with the sleep situation.
Yes. And I think, too, just looking at all this, it's, my daughter, She slept through the night 2.5 months.
Yeah.
And really, like, even when she was sick, 100 and something fever, ear infection, she slept through the night. And I'm like, I did that. I sleep trained her so well.
Yeah, you thought you did it.
I am basically taking care of babies.
Yeah, you could
2.0.
be that.
Exactly. So I'm like, I'm like coming into baby 2. I'm like, I got this.
Yeah.
I am the baby whisperer, and I will put all the children in our city to sleep. Right? Like, that's what I'm thinking.
I love it.
Wake up, not happening. I feel like the biggest learning from this too, I'm like, kids are just different.
Yes.
And I don't know then, is it the boy? Is it the second? Is it just them?
It's so interesting. So many parallels from my experience. Only with my daughter, there was concern about her weight. So we were informed by her pediatrician that we had to wake her up to feed her because she wasn't gaining as much as they like. And looking back, I'm like, man, she just still is not a big eater and not a fast grower. So I really wish I would have let her sleep, but I didn't. So I feel like I would have had a lot more rest if that wasn't in the mix, because like your daughter, she also was a very good sleeper. And even as of 2 weeks ago, she looks over at me and she goes, I love sleep. I don't get it why my brother doesn't love sleep.
Me too, girl.
And I was like, preach, like, can I get a hallelujah? But then fast forward to our son, and he was such a contact napper. My husband would walk around with the Ergo 360 for 2 hours so he could sleep. And if he wasn't touching one of us, he would not sleep. And it was so paralyzing and so time consuming. And keeping in mind, my husband also took off 12 months or so of work to be the primary caregiver for him. So in terms of the commitment to his, brain development, we were like, we have to do everything we can to let this baby get rest. And he sacrificed so much during the day. And even the nights were struggles. I mean, he would nap for 23 minutes if he wasn't on us. And then when it came to evenings, it was at least 2 to 3 times a night up until he was 18 months old. And the biggest learning for me was cry it out didn't work with him. It worked with our daughter very, very well and very quickly. It was the standard. It took 3 nights, never looked back, right? And like you said, you felt like this expert.
Right. I'm like, I know what I'm doing. This is my calling. I'm going to start my own business.
Yeah. And then the second ones come in and they're like, haha, just kidding.
Fail.
And you're like, what do I need to do to figure this out? And, as I look forward to where we are now, even last night, I had just gotten home from another trip and very late, but my kids knew that I would be getting home and see them in the morning. And of course, my son waddles across the house.
Mom.
Next thing I know, on my leg, giving him a big hug, come cover me up. And I'm laying down with him and I'm about to leave. I'm like, you got this, buddy. And he's like, one more minute, which is equal parts cute and frustrating.
And
because
equal
I'm like,
parts, 1 minute is 20.
Yes. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I finally could do that tiptoe, which anyone who's dealt with a hard to put down child, as you mentioned, where the creaks in your floor are.
100%.
And you're tiptoeing and you're like Mission Impossible with the lasers. Like you're just kind of like you're figuring out where to roll out.
We just moved. So I'm relearning at this new almost 2-year-old regression where those creaks are. And then I realized, the way his door is set on the hinges, it's like too close to the carpet, so it makes like
a noise. Yeah.
And I'm like, no. I'm like, do I got to get a pocket door installed? Like, how are we going to
shave the bottom of the door or something?
I'm going to put like something there, but I was like, no. But I know it's so crazy. And then I feel like I feel bad though, right? There's part of that as a mom where I'm like, enjoy this time where he wants you to hold him.
Yeah.
And enjoy this time. But I'm like, but preferably not at 3 a.m.
Yes.
When I'm not my best self in the morning because we need sleep.
So even before that, let's talk about the bedtime routine.
Oh.
And when you are doing it or our husbands are doing it, and then like coming out of the room after an extensive routine and the fact that it may be already 9 o'clock at night and you're so exhausted that you can't even have a talk with your spouse.
No.
Like, it's literally, you're just like this fried egg on the pavement, and you feel like you just went through a hurricane of sleepless, complete codependency, and you walk out of there. I feel like I'm doing the walk of shame back in college, to where it's like I stay up till 5 a.m. and my hair is like looking like flock of seagulls, and I'm like got, the mascara under my eyes and my lipstick's on my teeth.
But in this case, you've got like Goodnight Moon under your arm.
Exactly.
And maybe like a bottle of water and a stuffy. And you're just like, how did I get here?
I used tissue in my bra because they cried at one point.
It's like, how did we get here? No, yes. I know it's struggling. And we start to lose that me time, which becomes so precious.
So precious.
I think even just like you mentioned it too, like at the end of the night, you're so tired. So if we've got crying going on or we've got something going on, like you're not getting to those last minute to do items you wanted to do.
Yes.
You're not spending time with your spouse. You're not like, right. Like I feel like it makes me feel dysregulated in the morning. 'Cause I'm like, wait,
yes,
I didn't like tie my night up together. Not like I always have to, but that me time is so precious.
Like there's no decompressing.
Nothing.
You're just thrusted into caring for children, into full exhaustion mode, and then all you can do is brush your teeth and go to bed.
Totally. And I feel like part of it too, the differences of like you working, me staying at home, a sleepless night turns into like, I'm still with this child in the morning, which like I love staying home with my son, but it's like, okay, like I'm still.
But you're not your best self.
No, I'm not. Yeah. So it's nice when he like goes for a nap, whatever. But now we've been boycotting naps a little. So I'm like, okay, like.
You're like, that's cute.
I'm like, I get like overtouched. Have you ever been to that point where like.
All the time.
I'm sorry, guys. You just can't touch me right now. Like I need like a moment of autonomy and just like. I need to be by myself.
Yes.
It's wild.
It's a sensory overload.
Yes.
And not just like them making noise or touching you, but you thinking, right?
Thinking.
It's like, I can't think through this anymore. I'm not having coherent thoughts, or I'm having angry thoughts, or I'm having like irritability at a 10.
Yes.
Right.
And I think part of it too, like you said, like overstimulated. Like you always hear when babies are little, like, oh, don't let them look at these light up toys too long. They'll get overstimulated and frustrated. Like that happens to us too.
100%. 100%.
And, I think it's worth noting to kind of, we mentioned before, like we're starting to know our bodies now. I start to know when I kind of start to hit my levels.
Yes.
And I tap my husband on the shoulder and I just say, please
step in.
And
sometimes they're not there. And the other thing I have found myself with that kind of overstimulation, I have gotten better about giving myself a mantra when I really don't want to be doing this long bedtime routine, that I'm like, this will pass. It's only for a little bit. But before I had that, I would come out of the bedroom angry, like legitimately angry that I just sacrificed 45 minutes of me time or reconnecting with Matt time. And then, oh, Lord forbid, if Matt made a clank of a dish, and then I was like, even if the kid doesn't wake back up, I still am like, what are you doing?
I know, it's like,
are you insane?
Just throw the dishes out. We don't.
Yeah, I'm like, are you insane? Are you trying to ruin this for us? Are you trying to make this go on another 45 minutes? Now that's getting to bed. If I go backwards to those newborn phases, I want to emphasize, we see you. Because you are now what we're going to call in the sleep deprivation club.
Welcome.
And I hope that you can forfeit your membership to that club very, very soon.
Very soon.
But I want to just say, don't expect yourself to be anything like the person you know you are. You are running on caffeine and cortisol, as you have said before.
Yes.
Or you are running on a hope and a prayer, just trying to get through the day.
And also I think going through this with my son, it's not your fault. These kids are different. Like if taking care of babies or cried out isn't working for you, like that's okay.
Yeah.
Worked for our daughters. Awesome. Second time around, it's not.
Right.
Or it is to a point, and then we hear the regressions. They're learning new skills, right? Like they're just these little people trying to blossom and turn into a human.
Yes.
Which is a lot.
Earlier when you were saying, oh, I think my son's going through a regression, I'm like, I always looked at it as a progression, because I don't know about you guys out there, but I can't imagine having to go backwards. I'd never, ever wanted to be thinking about going backwards. So the word regression, like by definition, says you're going backwards. And I'm like, no, it's a progression because they're progressing in their development. And so if you are out there right now and your kid is struggling or just having this really tough week or 2 weeks, watch out, because they're probably going to start like talking in sentences or picking up something or throwing a ball or doing something that they've never done before. And then all that's going to make sense. You're still going to be exhausted from it. But this is, those leaps, or like the app Wonder Weeks, if you've used milestones and developing. But there's also other people out there that rely on co-sleeping as a means to cope. And I have always been a bit envious of that, because I think you and I related on this a little bit. It wasn't for me. I need my space. I don't necessarily want to get an L kick in my rib in the middle of the night,
Same. And for me, I always had this like looming thought of like, I'm going to roll over on this child.
Oh, totally.
Where that's for me, fear. I'm just like fear for sure. So it's like, I'm with you. I applaud people that can do that. I just can't.
Yeah. And there's people in my close friends group that still rely on this on a way just to like get through the night. And then here's the newsflash that we all need to remember. I hope we don't have 16-year-olds sleeping in our beds. Eventually they all learn how to go to the bathroom by themselves and they learn how to sleep by themselves. Yeah. And then the problem then becomes later in life that we have to wake them up because they won't stop sleeping.
Right. I know.
In the teen years, right?
So it's like, when are those days coming? Who knows?
So let's talk about, like, if we focus on the different ways people manage. We've talked a little bit about, the cuddle method, I'll call it, which is staying in their room, patting their back, rubbing their back, tiptoeing out the door, hoping to go unrecognized. Then we have co-sleeping, right? Which is you bring them in your bed, and then there's cry it out. We touched on this a little bit. What was your experience with cry it out? And maybe we even just like tell people what that is.
Yeah, absolutely. So cry it out, the best way I can describe it is literally what it's called. You have your child cry until they fall asleep.
Yeah, there's cry it out to extinction.
Correct. And I think the Ferber method is also what this is named. And there are different variances where you can go, I guess, kind of like you said, the extinction route, where it's literally just like, see you in the morning, right? Or the check-ins where you let them cry for 5 minutes, go in and just be like, hey, mom's here, or dad's here, whatever. And I think part of what I was reading or what I was following is, but don't touch them, right?
Yep, and don't even go close to them.
Right. So just say like, I'm here. And then the next one, you increase your increments, right? So then check in after 10, 15, 20. And the thought is they're reassured that you're coming back, right? But they're also learning to self-soothe themselves to put themselves to sleep. When I did this with my daughter, she was my first, and it was extremely hard. I literally gave the monitor to my husband, and I said, I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm just can't be here, or you need to sit here with me and do this with me, because it broke me.
It's a visceral reaction hearing our kids scream and cry.
And I think, again, part of me too is, I've read, like, just thinking of being in postpartum, Google, Reddit. I was on all of that, like Googling, what are these people doing? What are these people doing? What's working for you? What's working for you? And, you get people saying too, like, it's not natural to let your kids scream and cry it out. And
a lot of judgment.
And my biggest thing is do what works for you. And I was like, I needed my sleep.
Yes.
And I know this little girl can do it.
Yep.
And I wasn't letting her go hours. Like, in this, I think this is part of the reason it didn't work for my son, is because I'm not doing hours. Like, he would have been blue in the face. Like, you could just tell, like, he needed more comfort.
I had an hour rule with both that I said, we'll try it for 60 minutes. And then after that, we're going to, either offer them a bottle or a cuddle.
Right.
And like, not let them go.
Tough. So how was cry it out when you did it for the first time with your daughter?
Yeah. So it was kind of an ebb and flow. It wasn't like, I did have success early with the extinction, like and she didn't make it to the hour. And then the next night it was like 30 minutes. It was like the standard, what they say. It should take an hour the first night, 30, and then 10 or something. But then I think she did, have a moment where she went back to needing a little more attention. And then we did more of like that Ferber method, if that's what it's called, or the check-in method, the taking care of babies method. There's so many out there.
So many.
Where it was just, you're okay. I'm here. I love you. See you in the morning. Very quick. But the thing about my daughter, she was a passy kid. My son was not. And so we had these glow-in-the-dark pacifiers, 6 of them, in her bed sometimes, the 3, 6. And it was so that if it fell out, she could find one.
Yes.
Because that's what would wake her up, is that if she lost her passy. And it was so funny because I was like, I remember sitting by her bed in the dark, just handing a pacifier to her through the gate.
I just see like your hand rising.
But I didn't want her to see my face or to really know I was here. Maybe she was smart enough that she did know, but it was like anything I could do to get this thing back at her mouth.
Totally. Yeah. Well, and it's funny you brought that up. I feel like I totally blacked this out. So my daughter loved passies too, but she kept losing it. And I was like, I'm losing my mind.
Yes.
And this was the fact where even if I put 6 in there, I don't think she would have been able to find any.
Sometimes not, right?
So then she became a finger sucker.
Oh, I know.
Which and I'm like, oh my gosh, at least passy kids, you could take it away. I can't take her fingers away. They're attached to her body. So I remember that so distinctly because I was like, did I mess this up? Like we could have been. But I think it's looking back, the biggest takeaway with any sleep issues is they are time sensitive and time bound. Like it will end.
It will end.
It is, when you're in it, you're in it.
But also it's like this call to action for everybody who's sitting there sacrificing their relationship with their spouse or their me time, or you are just so exhausted that you're making bad choices, right? Like you're either not being as kind as a person as you are, or you're making unhealthy food choices, or you're just so exhausted you can't even go for a walk and get some physical exercise. Here's the thing. You have to think about your health too, okay? And there comes a tipping point, I believe, in many parents' lives, raising newborns until, let's call it 2 years old, that you have to say, hey, we gotta put a game plan together. Some of the parents out there, if you're one of them, I just want you to look up to the sky and thank whoever it is that you look to in the sky. If you have those kids that literally just slept, like for example, my mom said to me at the time, I didn't need her to say this the most. I don't know, with you and your brother, I just put you in your rooms and you just fell asleep. And I was like, well, aren't you Miss Lucky? You're welcome. And it was almost like she didn't believe me, and neither did my mother-in-law, frankly, believe us that our son was such a different sleeper and needed all these things until both of them witnessed it firsthand. And they looked over and they go, I've never seen anything like this in my life. And I just want to say, if someone doesn't understand what you're going through, it's because they didn't experience it.
Yes.
And that doesn't dismiss what you're going through.
Totally. And they might have a little Ashley pro sleeper syndrome where they think they are the best.
Yes.
Because that's been their experience.
Yes. And this is the thing about life in general, right? Is like we only have our experiences to draw upon and relate to others from. And that's the thing that I want to just say to everybody who feels judged or like that you're looking at yourself that you must be doing something wrong. Chances are, if you're the caring and loving parents, which I'm sure you are if you've hit play on this podcast, I have no doubt that you are caring, loving, nurturing parents. You're not doing anything wrong. Sleep is just difficult. You may try all of these methods, and then I'll share one more method that's worked for us for like the toddler age that hopefully for those who are getting into the toddler age, currently in the toddler age, you can think about and see if it works for you. But just know that your feelings are valid. You're not a bad parent. You're not doing the wrong thing, whatever it is, as long as they are getting their sleep. And you are getting your sleep eventually, you're doing the best you can. So as I mentioned quickly on the toddler side, our son recently, I've mentioned, not a good sleeper. So great in so many other areas, but man, woof, baby. So recently it was like, that's it. We can't do these 45 minutes anymore. I mean, he's going to be 4 years old later this year. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. We know he can do this. So we said, let's offer him an incentive. He loves race cars. There was this one race car Hot Wheel track that he really wanted. I ended up finding one on one of those buy nothing sites.
Yes.
And I drove and got it. And I was like, oh, I just saved $30.
Totally.
So anyway, I kept this thing in the basement. I do this all the time. I get random toys and stuff, and I keep them in the basement for when you need them sometimes for incentives. I said, okay, buddy, if you do 5 nights, Tuesday, you will get a special toy. And he's like, what is it? I'm like, it's a surprise, but I will tell you, I know you're going to like it. I want a toy. Well, mommy's going to leave the room. Can you do this? And he did it for 5 nights. And he now can do it every night. And I'll even say to him when he's like, stay here, I'm like, do you want me to take that racetrack back? And he's like, no.
Cutthroat.
Yeah, he's like, no, don't take it back. I go, well, that's what you get for being a big boy, sleeping by yourself, you know? So some kids will respond to those incentives. And it was the cutest thing, Ashley. He would sit there as he was alone in the room, and he would squeeze his eyes super, super tight. And you'd see him on the monitor trying so hard. And Matt and I would just sit on the couch and be like, you can do it, buddy. You can do it, you know. But that is another method that I've had success with. But you got to know your kid.
You got to know your kid and know your limits. Where if you know something's maybe going to set you off, tag in your spouse.
Yes.
If you're, you know, or if you're single parent, like just know your limits too. I think if mama's not right, nobody's right.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like if you're not in that right frame of mind, it's going to trickle into the family, and it's not going to be good for anybody. But I think too, speaking of the mamas and ourselves, sleep for us.
Yes.
Right? I think there's like we mentioned, we've got so much going on up here. I'm pointing to my brain.
Wherever it is right now, we don't know.
It might be in my shoulder.
Yeah.
You know, we've got so much going on, which everyone does, right? We're countless to-do lists and errands and activities in our life, right? Like what's going on that, like, how do we make sure we are getting the sleep we need? And also, do we know what works best for us? I feel like there's been some nights I've gotten like 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
And I feel great. Then there's the nights I get 10. I mean, this does not happen often. Let me talk but then I'm like, I feel terrible.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like there's a method to, I want to start dialing in, like, what is my sleep need?
Yes.
And what does best for me?
It's so funny you're bringing this up, because I just learned, and I always feel kind of like Poindexter, that I should be like wearing my glasses.
But I feel like this is why I love it. Cause I'm like, tell me, scholar.
Yeah,
tell me
I know.
what I need to know.
I'm so like just interested in things, and I love facts, and they motivate me. So, but I did learn in this stage of our lives, this age in particular, the ideal sleep amount is 7 hours. Once you have 8 or more, it actually does the opposite effect in terms of energy. It makes you more tired. So that's interesting that you brought that up, because saying you felt good at 6 but not good at 10, that's exactly it. There's something to do with just your overall sweet spot. You know, my husband wakes up at 5:30 on the dot all the time, most of the time now. And he'll be like, well, I'm ready to start the day, and I'm still sleeping until 6:30, right? So I do think it's individual. I do think that more sleep doesn't mean more energy. So sometimes it's actually physical activity that you need too, you know, to get sound sleep. So like if you're having really restless nights, it's maybe because you didn't expend enough energy in the day, that you didn't take that long walk. Right?
And think about, we do it with our kids all the time. Get them outside to like get their wiggles out, right?
Yes.
Run around the yard, throw a stick around. I don't know, whatever toys you're playing with.
Yes.
To do that. And like, we need to listen to what we preach.
Yes. And sleep is currency for your life,
yes,
both for them and for us. And I think, you know, on the days that you wake up feeling your best, maybe, you know, you ate really well the next day, or clean, and you know, forewent that glass of wine, and you went to bed at a decent hour, and you slept solidly. Don't you just feel like such a different human?
Totally. Well, and I think the hard part too is, at least I find myself in this trap all the time. If I am sacrificing, not sacrificing, forfeiting this me time that I don't have any control over, because I am helping my children, I get so, like, I will stay up later.
To make up for it.
Yes. So then I'm like self-sabotaging in this cycle of just like, wait, I went to bed too late. And, you know, maybe I got the hours I need, but I think there's part of it too, is going to bed at a reasonable hour, still getting those 6 hours and maybe waking up at 5:30. Because I think my friend tried some of this out. I forgot what she said, but it was like she found her best window to go to bed was like 10:30.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like even if you're getting the same amount of sleep, you need to find that window of when you fall asleep. And I'm self-sabotaging every night. I'm like, oh, well, the new Black Rabbit movie's on Netflix or whatever. Do
you have a TV in your bedroom?
We do. And I wish we never got one. And I grew up with a TV in my room. I will never give one to my kids because it's mindless. And they have the power to stay up late when you need restful sleep.
Yeah, I got one when I was 11 too. And we don't have one in our bedroom, and that's actually not my choice. It was my husband's choice, but I will say I don't regret it at all because, and then take it a step further this year with our New Year's resolutions, we leave our phones out of the bedroom, out of the bed.
I'm so proud of you for that. Like, I need to start doing that too.
Yeah, and even if I wake up, game.
Totally. If I wake up to go get him, that's my first thing. I was like, I'll look at this phone to see the time.
I know.
And then I'm like, the screens, the light, right? Like, we don't want it for our kids. Why are we doing it for us?
I know. Okay, so I want to just circle back on some things that we're hoping that people who joined us today take away with them. Number one, like we've said, you're in the driver's seat. You know your children best. Find out what works for them and for you and make a plan. Make that game plan. You know, if things aren't working for you, make a change. You can always try something out if it doesn't work. Not a loss. The other thing, too, is drop that guilt. Drop that judgment that maybe people make you feel. It's not yours, it's theirs. They don't have the life experience that you do. They don't have the kid that you do. So let's not take on their experience. Let's live through ours. And then really a couple other things is that every child is different. They respond to different tactics. And remember that your mental health and rest can't come last because then the whole family will lose out on a happier parent. So just be mindful of the whole family dynamic, Ashley. Do what works for you. Adjust as you need to. And then make sure that you're not creating unnecessary tension as it relates to sleep. I mean, that's what we could hope for everybody. And also, Ashley, I'm thinking of you as your little guy goes through this progression and, you know, just figures out what's going on with him and gets back into his rhythm.
Thanks. I'm thinking of you too.
Yeah.
And remember, after every breakdown,
there's always more bubbles.
Woohoo! And don't forget, we appreciate everyone along this journey with us as we're having so much fun recording this podcast. So please follow on wherever you listen and rate and review. Have a great day.